Is that okay?
Great.
Hello, welcome to the shed. We have a guest in person, which is amazing, and it's so nice. It's nice
really
to meet people on
excited
Zoom,
about
but
this.
it's really good to meet
And
people.
it's so warm today as well.
And it's so warm.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons it's so warm, it's sort of, we were chatting just beforehand, and we thought we would talk about the sun and why it makes us feel better.
Yeah, because of course we've had Nikki Harris has been in the shed before. Well, you were in the shed virtually.
Yeah.
Now she's really in the shed.
So we were talking about vitamin D,
yes.
and it's mistakenly called a vitamin. I understand that vitamin D
It's a hormone.
is a hormone.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about your experience with people with vitamin D and so on.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Nikki Harris, and I am a nutritional therapist, and I specialize in women's hormone health. So a lot of the work I do does involve testing. So I think, I tend to sort of move away from doing sort of like an iron panel, and then doing vitamin D, and then doing thyroid. So I tend to do like a comprehensive panel now, which is a little bit more robust, but certainly gives us a bit of a deeper insight to what's going on with inflammation and other things that the blood can tell us. But I think a common trend that I see quite a lot is a deficiency in vitamin D. And also, I think, I've mentioned this to you before as well. A big one is the question I get asked the most, what supplements can I take?
Yes.
So I think supplements have their place, and I don't talk about supplements per se too much, because I think they're very personalized, and also we need to be careful with any medications we're taking, contraindications, etc. So that's why I don't talk about, and it's very bespoke. So anyway, so going back to vitamin D, I think that people just kind of take vitamin D and they're squirting it in the mouth, however they take it, but how do we know how much you exactly need? A general multivitamin will have about 1,000 international units, which really maybe isn't enough, especially from April to October. We will get most of our vitamin D from the sun when it's out, and if we're exposing our skin to it. But between sort of October right round to March time, that's when we're maybe not outside so much, and we aren't kind of synthesizing it through our skin. And we do also, believe it or not, we need actually magnesium to activate the vitamin D to be able to work. So a lot of the times we can get sort of, magnesium deficiencies when, sometimes vitamin D and vice versa. We need magnesium for vitamin D to be activated.
Very common with hormonal changes to have a deficiency in magnesium, isn't it? And that can stop you absorbing vitamin D or utilizing vitamin D properly.
Yeah, I think that, again, vitamin D is another one, which is, it's a lot of deficiencies, and I think I try not to do it, but when I'm shopping in, the supermarkets, and I look into people's shopping trolleys, and I'm not judging, but I do think, well, where's the greens? And then I come along, with my trolley, and I've got kale, and I've got spinach, and I've got cavolo nero, and I've got broccoli, and I'm not, and people can eat what the hell they like. It's nothing to do with me, but I just think people don't eat enough greens, and that's where we get quite a lot of our magnesium from.
Right.
So green leafy veg, sort of whole grains, nuts and seeds. Dark chocolate is really rich in magnesium as well. So yeah,
what a great excuse.
Yeah, the dark chocolate. Yeah. So I think sometimes, when we have a deficiency in magnesium, then 9 times out of 10 we're going to have a deficiency in vitamin D, because the two work together. So
how does that kind of show itself? How does that affect people's lives as well?
Oh, I mean, we need magnesium for over 500 uses in the body. Don't ask me, because my brain can't function.
Well, I know it's good for sleep. I know that's one of the things, actually, because I keep magnesium and I take it at night.
Yes,
as one of my nighttime routines is like, take one of those, because I thought, because somebody said magnesium, do you get it in bananas or something? No, that's potassium. But it was like somebody said, I'm thinking, well, I don't like bananas, so I might as well take, so I will take something. But it's that interesting thing of, if you're sleeplessness is one of those things that there can be many, many, many different causes and things like that. So taking a magnesium tablet is not going to solve it immediately.
It can help. It helps with the stress. I think magnesium is almost what they sort of call nature's tranquilizer, because it does help to sort of help the body or the brain to produce GABA, which is a really inhibitory neurotransmitter. So we've got excitatory neurotransmitters, and we've got inhibitory ones, the kind of things that calm us down, and magnesium helps with that. So you know, I think, you know, especially as women move towards perimenopause, menopause, when our progesterone is really falling away, progesterone helps the brain to you know, produce that GABA as well, which is very calming, very soothing, which is why oftentimes women will have sleep troubles as they move into menopause and perimenopause.
It's a massive thing, isn't it?
And oftentimes where anxiety can be a bit elevated is because we're not producing that much more progesterone as we age, and then, you know, that progesterone is very calming, very zen-like. So you know, that the magnesium does help with that. It sort of helps our bones, our teeth, our heart function. There's so many things as well. So I use various different forms of magnesium, and I've been using it for years.
So, and vitamin D, so these two kind of seem to go hand in hand, vitamin D and magnesium. And vitamin D, we're mostly going to be all right in the summer, as long as we get, it's interesting what we were saying about how Australia, that you know, there's a sunny country, but they're deficient because they use a lot of sunscreen, which we talk about as a good thing in terms of, you know, you're not going to get skin cancer, but, you know, then, so there's always a balance.
There is a paradox there, isn't there? Because I think, you know, the way I see it, I mean, I do tan quite quickly, so I generally think that I will allow myself, and I probably do sit in the sun longer than I should without any sun cream on, but that's my personal choice. You know, so being able to get outside in the sun for like 20 minutes, if your skin type allows, to allow your body to actually synthesize it through the skin. And that's really helpful, and just to kind of like get your body a baseline. But, you know, like my husband's ginger, and he's like slathers on like factor 60 or factor 50 or whatever. So so I think sometimes it's just it's almost like that little, it's just like just trying to find that balance. Just
if we didn't sit in the sun, where would you recommend people get the right amount of vitamin D from?
Well, if you're not making it, you're not synthesizing it, you can get it through food, egg yolk and sort of oily fish.
Is that really, because people say I have oily fish, and somebody says if you have it once a week, that's okay. Somebody says unless you have 15 oily fish every day, that's not. Where would you sit in that sort of?
I mean, for me, first I would always test.
Right.
Tested for vitamin D,
because people need to be, otherwise you can overload on things.
So find out is the first thing. Find out whether there is a deficiency or anything like that.
So
see somebody who will test you.
Just a finger prick test. I'm not sure whether the GPs will do just a general vitamin D test, but you can buy them quite cheaply online.
Are they good? Do you recommend?
I mean, it gives you an overview, doesn't it? So it gives you an answer of how,
really nice thing to know
of where you are. So like inadequate, you know, deficient, or you know, you might actually be okay. So just lets you know. But 9 times out of 10, most of my clients are in the, you know, deficient area, you know, or insufficient. It will say on the test results. So then all we do then is we just top that up with supplementation. But I mean, I think with vitamin D, it's one of those things that you need to know where you're at, and then what you need to do is that you need to go in with a higher, like maybe sort of like 3,000 to 6,000 international units for a very short period of time, and then retest again, and then drop that down to a more of a maintenance level. But it's important that you haven't got clients.
So you have your therapeutic level and your maintenance level. And about how long would you say, I'm going to take 3,000 international units, test a week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks?
I generally give a 3-month test, but you know, it could be that, you know, and I generally do sort of recommend lots of magnesium rich foods, and for some clients they do need that magnesium.
So it's more magnesium than the lack of.
Sometimes it depends, because like I say, we need the magnesium for that vitamin D. So
so that's really good. So how much information was that? So the first thing was find out.
Find out first. It's the same with iron. It's the same with iron.
Just find out.
You need to know what your levels are.
Let's not get into iron. Find out, and then look at what you know. Have you got insufficient? There are things that you can do to do it. You might want to go and see a nutritional therapist. You might actually, but eating more leafy greens is a good thing anyway, and that will be magnesium. But that will help you with your vitamin D if you're able to get out in the sun for 20 minutes a day and let it be on your skin.
Without any sun cream on it.
No,
so but I do highly recommend that you get tested find out your levels, know what you're working with, work with somebody who knows what they're doing, so that you can be monitored, and then you can be then dropped down to the maintenance dose that's right for you.
So we're going to let you go and take advantage of the sun now for your 20 minutes. But yeah, what great advice. All right, so that's, if I can find, where's the record?